And that's where the problem comes in at.
Is that what she say, or that's how she think?
Oh, her and my son told me the same thing. Just because this happened to you, that don't mean it's going to happen to me. And it's been that way. And not just with me, just like my son watched his dad make mistakes. It's like, you can't tell me to do this because look at what you did. And some kids are just like that. You
Yeah.
just have to let them make their own mistakes.
But that's the part that hurts the most. Is like you want to prevent your kids from bumping their head and making the same mistake that you made, or you want to prevent them from heartache and disappointment, or experiencing failure and heartbreak and their freedom. You know what I'm saying? And they don't understand. Like, listen, I'm not trying to control your life. I'm just trying to help you get to a better place. I want you to be better than me and your dad. I was your age before, so like I know what happens at this age, and I know the mistakes that I made, and I don't want you to make these same mistakes. But in my experience, with me trying to teach my son and have him learn from what mistakes I made, oh, I'm the nagger. And everything that I say to him and try to instill him is to make his life better. And I feel like I repeat myself all the time. I can't want better for you than you want for yourself. But my son see me every day busting my butt. My son have seen me date real men that go to work every day and make good money and pay their bills and take care of me. But for some reason, my son doesn't move the way that I moved when I was his. But he is not 100% my child. He is 50% my child. So some of the things that I have as far as what makes me who I am, I try to push that off on him because I know that it will make him a greater person, make him more successful. It will cause him to not struggle in life. But sometimes things are just too hard, or they feel like it's too hard. They don't want to put forth an effort. They entitled because I've been handing him everything his whole life, so he's not used to working for nothing. So it's like now you're this monster that I created that feel like you want all these nice things, but you're not ready to work for it, or you don't want to work for it. And when I see that, it hurts my feelings because I know for a man to not want to work for the things that he want, you're not going to be successful in life. And people tell me, well, you're going to have to wash your hands. You're going to have to stop worrying about it. Let him bump his head. But what parent want to see their son or their daughter bump their head and fail in life? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see my son fail.
You know what? I think the problem came in at our generation. Our
Trying to be
generation,
better than our parents.
our generation is the downfall because of that exact reason. We always try to be better than our parents.
Give our kids what our parents didn't give
We
us.
spoil them,
Mm-hmm.
we baby them, and they don't see struggle.
Mm-hmm.
They know that we work.
Oh, they think we made it look easy. Like my son, when he moved out to get his own apartment, him and his little girlfriend at the time, they thought it was easy. But then they came back and told me, well, you make it look easy. But I don't know how I make it look easy when you see me get up in the morning. You know that it take me an hour to drive to work. I got to be there for 8 hours. Sometimes I have to stay late. Then I got to drive an hour home. And when I get home, I got a client sitting there waiting to get their hair done.
Yeah,
So how did I make that? How did I make that look easy?
because we're not thinking about it. My thing is, if you're not, have your lights ever been off?
Since I've had my son, I don't think the lights have been off.
Okay.
But when I was younger before him, I do remember my lights being
How
turned off.
often, since you had your son, have you been without lights, without food, without water, without a place to stay? Like, how often has that happened?
Where the lights was off because of like you don't
You
have
have
money to
money to
pay
pay
the
the
bill.
bill.
I don't think he's ever experienced that.
They don't experience shit like that. They
I
don't
don't.
experience half the stuff that, and I'm not saying that our parents, we went without lights. I'm saying that we've seen more
Or
of a
even in our
struggle.
own life before
Yeah.
kids as adults, we have struggled. And you are right. We make it so easy for them and we give them so much. And our parents made us work for what we wanted. And we're not making them work for nothing. That's why they entitled. That's why they feel like everything should come to them
And they should
easy.
have it. You shouldn't tell me no. My thing, I'm gonna say this. I had my mom had me when she was 16. I had my first child at 18, and
You had your first child at 18
I
and you
had
got a like real grown daughter, girl. How old are you?
shut up.
Black doesn't crack, baby.
I had my first child at 18, but what my being grown. This is me being grown. I told my mom when I was 16 that I was going to be better than her, and I wasn't going to have my child until I was 18. And that was really, I threw it in her face, somewhat. And I did. I had my first child when I was 18 because that's what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? I had raised kids. I was babysitting since I was, young, and that was easy to, for me. So because that was so easy for me, I didn't have a problem with having my own.
Because you already been raising kids.
I had already been raising kids, so it was
now that's a whole nother topic by itself. And I was talking to actually my client today. She has two younger sisters, and she was saying how her mom used to make her babysit.
That was strong.
Michael trying to get us wasted, right? But anyway, she was saying how her mom used to make her babysit, and when you become a teenager, like you ain't trying to babysit, you're not trying to watch. You want to have a boyfriend, have your life. So I always thought, like, when I see people who have a lot of kids and they make the older child babysit, me personally, I would think I don't want to have no kids because I've been raising kids. But I also feel like, why are you mad at your daughter when she get pregnant when you already having her be a mom? You got her washing, giving your babies a bath. You got her changing your baby diapers. You got her babysitting. She a mom already. So what's the difference of her having her own damn baby?
And I went through that too. Like my daughter tell you, my oldest,
okay.
My oldest daughter will tell you, like, I bust my ass.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and you still be busting your ass, because how many hustles you got?
Yeah, I do it all.
I know. I'm gonna have to get my hair done. I'm gonna have to get, a new insurance policy. I'm gonna have to get one of them plates and make sure you have those green beans on it.
Because I work so much, what I would do is I would always try to have my job in close proximity of where I live.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't have to
what
go
I would
so
do
far.
is I would go home on my lunch breaks or something. I would cook, I would clean, I would do different stuff, and I would leave instructions for my oldest daughter to finish up whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she would be at home with the kids until I got home.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm usually from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. I'm out. I usually make it home by 9:15. By 9:15, everybody should be done took baths in the bed, ready for the next day.
At what time?
9:15.
Okay.
By the time I get home, everybody should already be ate, took baths, ready for bed.
I'm gonna move this over here so we can be looking the same direction.
So, with that being said, she felt like she also raised her siblings.
Okay.
But
did it make her not want to have any, or
she's on the fence with having kids? But she's not on the fence with having kids because of raising them. She's on the fence with having kids because of the relationships that with my ex, with baby daddies. And she don't want to. She wants the same thing that I always want. I don't want to have a baby by somebody and then the relationship get fucked off, and then now it's drama.
Right.
And no matter how much you want that, somehow throughout a relationship shit change, and you end up with just that.
Yeah.
If it's not enough effort put in for that, to happen, then hell, it happens.
Yeah.
So she doesn't want that, and I don't blame her. I mean, she's 20. She'll be 25 this year. No kids. My son is 22. No kids. Now my daughter is her birthday is tomorrow. She'll be 18.
Okay.
No kids. And
happy birthday.
For me, my success level for my kids is again greater than what which is them three has graduated high school, with no babies.
Mm-hmm.
And that might sound like something small.
No, that's
huge.
Not small.
It's huge. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm 42 I'm an adoptive grandmother, but my kids don't have kids.
Yes.
So,
but I think that you shouldn't what do you call it? I can't think of the word right now, but you shouldn't make light of that. I think that's a good thing, and that's something that should be celebrated, because like you say, your mom had her first child at 16, you had one at 18. So already your kids are exceeding or excelling for their own personal growth. or what type of life they want to have. And a lot of kids don't realize that a baby is a responsibility.
But that's because I instilled that.
Yeah.
But you gotta also understand that I came from an era where parents didn't give a fuck about half the shit you did.
That's the
I
area
moved
you
out.
came from?
I moved out. Like I moved out of my mom's house at 16. I was
Like
literally
you ran away from home?
no, I didn't run away from shit. I moved out. I
Okay.
moved out. I was working 2 jobs. Me and my aunt, who was 2 years older than me, we went and rented a house in Lakewood, and we did our own thing. And at the same time,
And your
I was
mom
still
let you
going
do
to
it?
yes.
Ain't no, my mom would have never.
Look,
When I
still
moved
went to
out,
high
I didn't even
school.
tell my mom I was moving until the day before I was moving.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like I didn't have nobody to say don't do that because you know you don't want to you don't want to do this because or this will happen if you do this or any of that. I didn't have that.
Your mom never told you those things?
No, my mom was like, whatever.
How many kids did your mom have?
4.
That's not a lot to where you can't pay attention to your kids. So what was the deal? Like, why was
I can't speak for her. I don't know. I can't speak for her. I don't know. Um,
that was like the total opposite of my situation?
my background, like when I say my struggle
Yeah,
made me who I am,
yeah,
my struggle made me who I am. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have I've never really had a support system. I worked 2 jobs and went to school when I went to cosmetology school. And then at some point, I was like, look, I can't watch your kids no more. You got to figure this shit out.
To your mom?
Huh?
To your mom?
From her? Yeah.
Like you would tell her you can't watch her kids?
No. She couldn't watch mine
While you was in school?
while I was working 2 jobs and went to school. It's like, nah.
So she was working and couldn't watch them, or she just didn't want to watch them?
I mean, she only really needed to watch them at night when I worked one of the jobs at night.
And she was at home.
So I had to figure it out. I was like, look, either I'm going to quit a job or quit school. And
So
shit,
what
I
you
needed
ended
money
doing?
to take care of my kids. I quit school.
Mm.
So I've been back and forth to school several times or whatever the case may be. But this is my thing. That don't stop my hustle. You know what I'm saying? How I make my money. Like my kids will tell you, they always, every 3 months, I'm going to the closet, throwing shit in the trash, we're going shopping.
Yeah.
You know, they can't tell you they've ever went without shit.
Mm-hmm.
They've always had. We've always had a nice place to stay. We've always had.
Mm-hmm.
So I think about that, but then I think about, are they missing anything? You know, like, are they missing anything? Did because I worked so much, did I shortchange them in any way?
Mm-hmm.
And did I teach them the things that need to be taught? One thing I can say is I sat down and I told them, like, look, about having kids,
Mm-hmm.
about how important education was. Because I ain't going to tell you, I dropped out of school like 3 months before I graduated. It was time for me to graduate.
Why was that?
My family pissed me off. I didn't have a support system. Like nobody was like, none of the stuff that I went through with graduation prom meant anything to anybody. So I said, you know what, fuck it. At the time, it didn't mean anything to me.
So have you asked their children, do they feel like they missed out on anything with you working?
Yes. My
And what
daughter
did they
told
say?
me,
Which one? The oldest one?
my oldest,
Okay.
she told me that I wasn't emotional and affected enough for them.
But
That's
that
what
might
they
just be
miss.
your personality. That don't have nothing to do with you working. Because you're not like you're not, you're not like one of those type of people. from what I see.
But I am though. I am.
Are you?
Very loving and affectionate.
So
person.
you're like a Care Bear. You're like soft on the inside.
Yeah, all that.
We gotta activate that little. Because you like hardcore when I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is.
So they want you to like rock and hug and kiss on them, and you
Well,
did it?
The crazy part about it, them 3, they were not like that. You know, they
So
were
why
not,
they complaining about you not being emotional and affectionate?
because there was something they missed. And I say they were not like that. Maybe they were not like that because I was never around that much, and it automatically detached them in that way. But like, because my younger 2, I'm around all the time. They want to cuddle. They want to have movie nights. You know, they always want mama for something.
Yeah, they so
So
cute too.
so it's completely different because I'm there. They
Yeah.
want me there,
Yeah.
but the other ones I was not there. So it's like maybe it was like, well, shit, she ain't here no way, so.
So let me ask you a question, and this is more so for my own personal um question here or whatever. You said it's what you instilled in them. You know, you instilled in them that they shouldn't, have kids when they before they graduate or before they get 18 or whatever. So I have instilled so much in my son, and no matter how much I instill it, I show him, I repeat myself. It's like he don't interpret or he don't take none of that in. So people judge me off of his behavior, and I'm like, but no, I taught him this, I told him this, I did this,
But
I did that.
Let me tell you
And
why.
it's like I have been this parent to give him all the rules, give consequences, to
But
teach him right from wrong.
but I'm gonna tell you why that's a problem. Because you're that one parent that does that.
Mhm.
That second parent is not backing you on what you do. So what he sees is the shit I don't want to hear come from one parent. The other parent let me do whatever the hell I want to do, and that's what happens in broken homes. You know what I'm
And that's
saying?
the crazy part, because like me and his dad, we be on the same page. But when I say something to my son, it's nagging. But his dad can say the same thing, but because he talking to him like they on the same level, he listen. And it's like me and his dad, our lifestyles are totally different. Now, in comparison, you would think that my son would follow my lead more so than his dad's lead,
I
but
was
he doesn't do that. And it's like I could tell his dad, I say, well, he ain't doing this, he ain't doing that, he, blah 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 blah. And his dad will call him, they'll have a conversation. But his attitude with his dad is totally different than his attitude with me. And I don't like that. And I don't understand, like, I'm showing you and I'm teaching you a better way to have a better life where you don't have no stress, where you have your money. Like I'm giving him, like right now, my son lives in my house rent free, and he's gonna be 20 years old, a grown ass man. But you're in college, so it's like get a job, work your job, stack your paper, go to school, and you don't have to worry about nothing because you're doing what you're supposed to do. But when you're not doing what I ask you to do, like simple things, how is it that you expect me as a mom to be okay with just allowing you to just exist? Like I can look at my son sometimes and I'm like, why you got them same clothes on? And it could be like shorts with holes in it, or he walking around with an undershirt on. And I just don't understand, like, how is it that you can walk around looking any kind of way, but when I've raised you, you don't leave out this house unless you're presentable. I don't leave out my house unless I'm presentable. But when you see my son, you be like,
that's it. On some floral shorts with a Nike hoodie with some
in the summer.
big socks that come all the way up to his knees with some 14-year-old flip flops. They don't care.
And that's like this generation.
They don't care.
And
Like
when
they
you
just
address
don't
it, they
care.
get an attitude about it. It's like, why are you getting mad? Just because I want you to care about how you look, because I want you to be presentable. Like I try to tell my son, people treat you how you look. You can't go on a job interview and looking like you finna go play basketball, because why would they hire you? Me and you can go into a business together. We can have the same credentials, but I'm going in there with my bonnet on or with the pajama pants on, and you going in there with a blazer on and some high heels. Who you think they're gonna get a job to?
I think I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with
That was pretty good with the little salt
you.
on
The
it.
I don't care attitude that they have is a catch 22. I think it's a catch 22 because we don't want them to give a shit about what society say they should look like or what they should be or anything like that, right?
Right?
So they do just that.
Yep.
They don't care. But at the same time, we do want them to care.
Yep.
We want them to care because we don't want the wrong people to get the wrong impression of them
Mm-hmm.
and stereotype them.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's exactly what's gonna happen.
it is what's going to happen. But we teach them to have their, and this is another thing. You way more than me. Express yourself. Have your own way of thinking. Or say what's on your mind. You instill that in your son.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
No. What the fuck I say it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like when you want to talk back, I'm gonna pop you in your mouth. You know what
But
I'm
see,
saying?
that goes back to what you said. We want to do things different than how our parents did things. So
But
my
then
mom was like you. When she say go, I don't care if it hurts your feelings. I don't care what your opinion is. And I didn't have a voice, and I did not like having a voice. Like I don't like when I'm trying to talk to somebody and they don't let me express myself. So when you have a child, anything that hurt you growing up, you want your child to avoid it. So I allow my son to have a voice. I allow him to tell me how he feels. And some people might take it as, like, well, what you say go. He shouldn't have an opinion or he shouldn't have anything to say about it. But then I also feel like because I've allowed him to have a voice, now when he get out in the real world, he thinks that people should care about what he thinks when don't give a damn about what you think.
I just think that at a certain age, I would say you're allowed to have a voice when you hit a certain age. When you hit 18 and 19 or whatever the case may be, then you know what, you grown. So yeah, because once you say something and I tell you to get the hell out, you old enough to feel your own way. But as kids, as long as I have to pay for your shit,
Yeah.
and I have to make sure I keep clothes on your back and a roof over your head, you're gonna respect me to the fullest.
Mm-hmm.
And that means you better watch what come out your mouth next.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I mean that.
I agree with that part. Now, I'm not condoning any disrespect, and I'm not condoning like talking disrespectful. So there's a difference in having a voice and being respectful with your voice. So I don't condone any disrespect, and if you do be disrespectful in your tone, it's gonna get checked. My issue with my son, the disrespect comes in if I tell you to clean your room and then you don't clean your room, and then I gotta keep telling you. I take that as disrespect because why do I need to tell you multiple times to do something that you've been having to do your entire life? You 19 years old, I shouldn't have to tell you to clean your room. And if you don't want me to tell you to clean your room, guess what? You can go get your own apartment again. That's how I feel about it. But then when I say that, I'm the bad guy. But how am I the bad guy when this is my house, this is my rules? These kids, they don't understand, like what that means when you say this is my house, this is my rules. They be like, well, why you want to put me out? Well, why don't you just want to do what I tell you to do?
Right.
That's the part that I don't get. So one of the comments in the group, I have to go back to it, but it was a guy that commented and you was asking him, you said he was confusing you. And him, okay, you was asking him, do he have adult children?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like a person that don't have adult children, they cannot relate or understand what it's like to raise adult children?
I feel like it's always easy to say what you will and won't do when you've not been in that situation.
Exactly. That's just like people that don't have kids. They always trying to tell you how to parent, and they ain't parent now.
It's always easy to say what you would and when I do, because once that time comes, you're gonna be like, man, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I tell my kids now, just keep living.
I didn't know to hit record on them.
Keep living. Keep living. Watch. You know what I'm saying? Watch the stuff you do and watch the stuff that they do and how they move. You know what I'm saying? You watch. Like my daughter came to me she came to me and said, "Mama, I understand why you did this. I understand why you said that. I understand now. I see." Because as they grow older, the stuff that you've been telling them all their young life,
it's gonna click.
It's gonna click. It'll click. And everybody knows for boys, it takes a lot longer to click than girls. It just does. You know what I'm saying? Unless I always try to say, unless something tragic happened, but I've seen so many men go through tragedies and shake that shit off like it never happened. I just be like, man, I don't get it. I don't even get it.
Okay, so I was on Facebook and one of our Facebook group members made a post, and the post said something about and I'm just gonna paraphrase. I don't remember what it said verbatim, and if you watch it, I apologize if I don't get it right. But basically the post was basically saying how you need to find out if a woman grew up with a daddy in her life, because a lot of women go through daddy issues. And I responded to the post and I was saying that it's not about daddy issues, it's abandonment issues. And women are not the only people that experience those daddy issues or those abandonment issues. Men also have abandonment issues too. So when you have a family that the daddy leaves and the mom is raising a child by herself, it's not the little girls just because she a little girl that, oh well, her daddy went in her life, so she don't know how to treat a man, or she don't know how a man's supposed to treat her. What about those boys? When daddy leaves, that hurts the boy too.
It hurts
Daddies,
the boys a lot.
but don't nobody talk about it.
It hurts the boys a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like I've watched, like when my son dad walked, you know, when he left, I watched him act the fool. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? He threw tantrums, and honestly, I think a lot of boys don't want to accept a breakup.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to accept that mama and daddy is not going to be together. Because I'm even watching my son now. It's like, oh, I'm not eating enough. I'm watching my son now, and it's like I have to sit down and have a conversation with him because he'll call his dad and say, "Mama, Daddy, come over."
Like
No,
you can't just be having him come over my house like that.
no, he can't.
Yeah,
But it's hard for him.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So you have to sit down and explain, you know, to them differently, and they act out, and
yeah.
and because they feel like um that that reinforcement again, men offer a different type of reinforcement because that reinforcement is not there. Then I'm gonna do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because mama not gonna really be on maybe me a little bit more or whatever. She gonna let me get away with this, that, and the third. And then daddy not there to say nothing to me. So hell, it is what it is.
Well, see, I don't know because I think my son is a different breed. Maybe because he got that Wilson gene in him. Because I used to beat the hell out this little boy.
Girl, please, King take a ass whooping with like a champ.
You
Girl,
know, it's like
please.
he done got punished, he done got whipped, but like I do know, like my son was 5 years old when me and his dad separated, and it affected him. And he might have abandonment issues now because, like, I feel like my son feel like he always got to be in a relationship. He's only 19 years old, but I feel like he's one of those type of people that just feels like he needs to be in a relationship. Like he ain't no twin like me. My mommy say, "You act like you can't be by yourself," and my smart mouth comment was like, "Well, I wasn't born by myself. Why should I have to live by myself?" You know. So my son got extra love for me because I to overcompensate for his dad being gone. But it's like he still made bad decisions. You know what I'm saying? And I punished him. I did not like I spoiled him, but he always had consequences. He always got whippings. You know what I'm
You
saying?
like to hit by another motherfucking.
Oh, they must like the caramel. They're not messing with the chocolate. But anyway, I feel like when his dad left, he was diagnosed with depression, and he used to do crazy stuff, and it used to it used to really irritate me a lot when naysayers and outsiders used to try to tell me what I need to do. First of all, a whipping
Yeah,
is
beat his
not
ass.
always the answer because I was beating his ass and I was not getting a change. There was nothing changing except for I'm feeling bad because I'm beating him, or I'm getting tired and I'm out of breath, and it didn't work. You know, when your son started beating his head against the wall and scratching the skin off of his arms, it's something more serious than a beating. But men want to always talk about how women have abandonment issues. That boy was going through something, dealing with abandonment issues because daddy's not there no more. And even one time at 5 years old, he told me that he felt like it was his fault. And it's like, why would he even think that it's his fault? You're a baby. Like you have no control over your parents being together or breaking up. But you never know how something like that could tragically change how a kid see things. So I put my son in counseling. And what I realized is a lot of people never get counseling for things that hurt them, for things that break them. And then they become adults and they try to make sense of a situation that they can't make sense of because they need more help. You need to get counseling. In our community, a lot of people don't believe in count. A lot of people don't even believe in going to the doctor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, don't sit back and try to judge or tell somebody what their issue is when you've never seek counseling for yourself, because counseling is important. You need to talk about it. If you don't have insurance or if you don't have a doctor or the money to go get a counselor, you need to sit down and talk to your friends. Talk to a friend that won't even open their mouth, that's just going to listen, just so you can get that off your chest. That's important. Mental health is very important, and a lot of Black people are lacking help with getting control over their mental health, you
Yeah.
know. But I personally think that when it comes to like broken marriages or broken homes, that the daddy issues, they don't just affect the girls.
They don't.
I know for a fact that it affects the boys too. That's why you have so many men out here that don't know how to be fathers, because when you don't have a father that growing up with you, you shouldn't just be like, oh well, my daddy wasn't there, I don't know how to be a dad. You're your own person. You could be the type of dad that you want to be for your child,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Guys, we started late, so we're gonna end early. But I will say this. I strongly suggest sit down if y'all having issues with y'all children, or y'all, teenagers, you're about to be adults, adolescents, or whatever. Have a conversation with them. I mean, let them, not even that, not even having a conversation with them, but also think about where you were at that age and where they get it from.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think about where they get it from. That's going to
From
make a
their
bigger
daddy.
but because it's going to allow you to relate to a situation a little bit better, because again, you've been there, you just grown out of it. What you can do is have a conversation and say, this is what I've learned over the years, and I really wouldn't want you to learn things the way I learned them, and go from there. But sometimes sometimes you gotta let them make their mistakes. But I mean, sit down and see where they mind at.
For
That's all I
me,
can say.
I don't know what to tell you. I can only tell you what I've experienced. I feel like I was an exceptional mom. You know, like I tried to give my son the things that. Why is there so many motorcycles over here? Like really, like so many motorcycles. Anyway, I try to be the best mom I can be. You know, I try to give my son the things that I didn't have. I try to talk to him. I try to make it to where he can communicate and talk to me. But what I realize is people are going to be who they are, and it don't matter like how they was raised. You can have a house full of kids
Yep.
raised by the same mama, the
Yep.
same daddy,
Yep.
same rules, same
Yep.
consequences, and all of them turn out different.
Yep.
One
Absolutely.
person might be a doctor, one person might be a lawyer, the other person,
Crackhead.
and they grew up
Thief.
under the same roof. So it doesn't matter how you raised. It don't matter what was instilled in you. It doesn't matter what school you went to, what church you went to, who your mama, your daddy is. You are your own person, and you're gonna make the decision that you want to make for your own life. You cannot want better for your kids than what they want for themselves. So when they don't want to listen, they don't want to take your advice, they don't want to do what you say do. If they grown, let them bump their head, let them scrape their knees, and let them hit rock bottom. And once they hit rock bottom, then maybe they'll appreciate you and maybe listen to you and understand you're their parent. You want the best for them. You would never tell them something that's going to hurt them. So if all they hear is nagging, stop talking to them. Don't say nothing else. Let their ass figure it out. Because that's what I'm going to do. And I'll let y'all know how that works. Because I've done everything. I've tried every piece of advice that anybody has given me, including professional people, and it didn't work. So what I come to realize is my son just gonna do what he want to do, and he just gonna have to reap what he put out there. He's gonna have to deal with the consequences.
Beating the dead horse.
Yeah. So don't stress yourself out behind nobody, not
Yeah,
even your
too
children.
old. We getting too old. We stressing like that.
And if you drinking like we drinking every week on cocktails and conversations, you already got to worry about having half a kidney and liver. You don't need no high blood pressure added on to it by some ungrateful ass kids.
Yes.
But anyway, like she said, we started late. Unfortunately, Miles couldn't join us because he out there making all that money. So if y'all see him, tell him let you borrow $20 tomorrow. But thank you guys for joining us. We will be live again next week. If we're not live, we'll do a pre-recorded show, and we'll go ahead and post a link on our Facebook pages and our Instagram. Thank y'all for joining. And remember, if you're not following our Cocktails and Conversations with Jim, go ahead and do that on Instagram, and go ahead and follow us on YouTube. And if you have any topics,
and invite your friends.
Yes, like, share, and follow. Subscribe.
Talk to y'all later.
Thank you.
Ugh.